Dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and distractions. If we went off track, just know we're coming back. More money, more mindset, no holding back. Dollars and distractions.
Hi, I'm Beck,
And I'm Marianne.
and we are Dollars and Distractions. So today we're talking about couples and money
Yes.
and conversations that no one has.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting but also super important topic.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think too, because we're female, if you're listening to this, you might not know, but we are female.
Mhm. We are, well and truly.
And in this industry, I see a lot of females who have perhaps absolved themselves of the financial responsibility in a relationship. And then if that relationship was to break down, they have no idea, almost no idea how their finances are structured, where things are, what's going on.
Yeah, I think that can work both ways too, though,
Mhm.
because obviously with my partner, he was the opposite, so he didn't know anything.
So it's not just
About-
females. Yeah.
Absolutely not. And I
Interesting.
suppose working in the bank too, I suppose that's a generational thing where actually we were talking about this morning, me and Rich, about how the generations have changed in terms of we're watching a show on Netflix called The Unchosen, which is very much like set.
Unchosen.
Have you watched it?
No.
No.
You're
So
going to have to remind me.
yeah,
I will forget that.
we were joking because in the movie, like, it's very religion based, but it's very much like the male gets listened to and that's like what you do, blah, blah, blah. And then we were joking, we were saying like, oh, maybe I need to talk to you like that. Then you listen, I'm like, well, no, the
I could
generations.
not imagine Rich talking to you like that.
No,
You will listen to
he
me
wouldn't.
and you'll be like, say what now?
You're like, nah, you did not
I think
just
the
say.
dynamics have, because Jeremy and I were talking about this the other day, the
Yeah.
dynamics have shifted in that women are becoming the breadwinner, are earning money for themselves, and almost to a point where, I mean, this is very...
No, yeah, it's probably the same conversation we've been having.
And now at a point where they're like, well, why do I need a man? Look at what I'm creating. And I think it's fantastic that women can do that these days, because back in the day, I remember when I first started working for the bank, one of the Woolworths ladies I worked with, because I'm like, oh, about to start my new job at the bank. I'm so excited. And she said, oh, I used to work for the bank, but then I got pregnant. And I said,
they weren't
so
allowed.
you wanted to leave and raise the baby? She's like, no, I got pregnant and was told, thank you for your service. Here's the door. See you later.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Crazy, isn't it?
As an independent female, I was like, what?
Yeah.
But that is how it was. So I think it's brilliant that it's changed.
Yeah.
But I think we risk anyone in a relationship not privy to what's going on financially, or any relationship where the conversation's not been had about money is a risk.
Absolutely. And then I think what we're talking about this morning is that a lot of women are now, I'm not woo-woo, but a lot of women are now.
I'm a little bit.
I am a little bit, yeah. I'm not, but a lot of women
I've
are
got a
living.
crystal on my desk. It's a pretty one.
I know. And I hold one when I'm anxious, so maybe we are woo-woo. But I think a lot of women are being more held in their masculine back to their feminine, more than their feminine energy now, because maybe back in the day they were able to be that homemaker and they were at home and they were caregiving and they were, they weren't allowed to work. But nowadays I think women are doing it for themselves. We were talking about this yesterday, they're having babies by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're leaving, like, they're going to more educated than probably ever were. And now women are actually going, well, we can actually do this on our own, or we want to do it on our own. But I think this isn't just a male-female type thing, but I think women are starting to learn more about their financial independence, and there is more, and not to say men aren't either, but men have already typically been the provider, typically.
I don't think it's. So when Jeremy and I first started dating, I took over the finances because I was a banker. So it just made sense. The person who works for the bank does the finances.
Yeah.
And he hated it because I'm anti-cash.
Yeah.
I was back then. So he used to have, he used to get paid, go to the ATM, withdraw his pay, pop it into his wallet, and that was his money to spend for the next fortnight until he got paid again.
Yeah.
But in my banker mind, that blew my mind, because if you lose your wallet, you've lost your entire spending money.
Did you not ever do that?
Never.
I did when I was like 18. I would draw.
Oh,
but
you
it wasn't
are
so
a lot
much
like him.
It wasn't so much electronic though back then.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like you take your phone and pay
But then
for
I
something.
come along and I'm like, no, mate, it's all in your savings account. You know, we talked about you split up your accounts. That's your spending account. It's all in your spending account. You use your card. And that drove him crazy because he's fine. But to get used to having no cash was hard. Anyway, long story short, got to a point where I was like, okay, now I'm running a business and I'm taking care of the business finances.
Yeah.
I need you to take care of. And something amazing happened. It wasn't that he didn't know what was going on, but it was more just that I'd done it for so long that to give it to him was actually really good for both of us. It was great for me to go hands off the wheels. I don't think about our home finances. That's his job and I do the business.
Yeah.
But also good for him to go, right, okay, I know what's going on. I know where everything is. I know how much we've got and I know what's going on with, and I know I shouldn't be going to BCF today, but I will anyway.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's really, it was interesting. But I think also a common issue I see is couples having a conversation, not necessarily, right, you now control the money, but, and not that either one of us control, like I can jump on and access anything if I want to, I just choose not to. But the actual conversation.
Yep.
And if I take that one step further, I have that same, we have it with the kids in the car.
Yeah.
We don't have it where we're dire straits. We don't have money for this. This is all bad or anything like that. But we are very open about, right, we've got that bill. We need to make sure we've got, when's pay's coming? It's coming then, right? We need to make sure we've got enough there. And we have that in front of them because I was raised in an opposite household.
Yeah, okay.
I was sheltered from all those conversations.
Yeah.
But that inadvertently meant that I was not comfortable to talk about money in the slightest.
Yeah. And I suppose when I look at so in my marriage, like we met I was 21, and I don't know, it wasn't something then that I thought, oh, you've got to have a money conversation. Like, are we similar? Are we not? We were very different with money, but I was probably more the
spender? No, I'm kidding.
Not so much a spender. I just didn't know about money a lot. Like I just wasn't taught that. I just kind of, I think you either have one that's kind of aware and one that's not, or vice versa, or you've got two that aren't aware or two that are aware. Like it's just, but it really does make a difference on your lifestyle and your life and your beliefs. And, you know, nowadays I'm a bit more with life experience. I'm more aware of money. I'm more in control of it. I know what it's doing, but I also now am conscious of teaching the kids the value of it too, because it doesn't just fall from the sky.
Even just little things like Jeremy's a big fan of saying, oh, we're on the bones of our ass.
Yep.
And he doesn't actually mean we're on the bones of our ass. But he doesn't do it anymore. I used to pull him up and be, hang on, because the kids hearing that, they don't know any different. So they're like, mum and dad are broke, we're in dire straits, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Or even little things like, oh no, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to go out for dinner tonight because we can't afford it. And I'm like, no, we need to, we actually do have the money in the bank account. We don't want to go out for dinner to pay for it right now. Or whatever that shift is.
Yeah.
So that as kids, they can be involved in the conversation, not scared, but also understand there's a difference.
Yeah. And I know this is digressing from couples, but I think then as the time has gone on and we were talking about women being more in the workforce, then that I think has created a culture like men and women, mums and dads are working more.
Mhm.
And then there's, typically less time spent with kids. And so then there's that sense of, and I'm not saying everybody's like this, it's just an observation of we then compensate with things or, to make up for the time that maybe back in the day when women were at home more and more present. But now it's just a different way of living. We have to work to survive. But then if you've got that spare cash, and I think it's important to me, I think it's important for the kids to be aware that, yes, you do have the money for that, but this is off one of our other topics, want versus need.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't say necessarily, oh, we are brokers, anything, but, I had to work 2 hours to pay for that. It's just a concept of time.
I remember when I was little and my sister was buying a jacket and she was umming and ahhing. She's quite frugal, good with money. And I remember saying to her, if you like it, you get it. You've got the money. It's there. You like it. Where's the dilemma? And she turned around and she said to me, do you know how many hours I would have worked to pay for that?
Yeah.
And in my little brain, I was like, I hadn't even thought about it. But now that you word it like that, it does make you second guess and go, is it actually worth 6 hours of my labor or is it not?
Yeah. And I suppose then if you've got couples that are very polar opposite to that, it's finding a balance,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because I know that sometimes I can be frugal, but I think that's just my upbringing. I've learnt to be frugal. I don't know if that's a word, actually. What is frugal? Frugal means like tight ass, eh?
I thought it did, but maybe
Or-
it doesn't. I don't know.
Hmm.
Because it's interesting. My
Aware?
sister is absolutely not a tight ass, and yet I called her frugal just before. So maybe I've used the wrong word to
Sounds
describe
like
her.
a person's name.
I feel like she's
frugal.
just sensible.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah. But I do know that from past experience, there's a balance between being frugal and also allowing yourself to live. Because we've had this
We
conversation.
talked about it this morning. You can't take your money with you.
No, you can't. And like another thing you said recently was we work every day. Like it's all good to plan. You've got to find that balance between planning ahead and having money to be able to live and what you want to do, but also actually friggin' living because
I think that's where, and maybe you of all people would appreciate this as well. I think that's where having a partner who is not well.
Yeah.
Well, he's well now.
Yeah.
Well enough to fish, but
perspective.
yeah, so you kind of go, it gives you a nice balance.
Yep.
Where you go, okay, well, I need to make sure that we're planning for the future and we've got money and everything's going to be okay. But also, I don't know how long we have. I mean, I know I've got forever because only the good die young, but
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you get those little memories in and those moments in now because you don't know what the future holds.
No.
Whereas I think in a couple who are two very healthy, nothing seemingly bad, it's exactly the same because you don't know how long you have.
Yeah.
But you don't have that reality facing you all the time and little reminders all the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know, off topic again, but someone once said to me, you surprise me that you are okay with your husband being chronically ill. And I said, that surprises me that surprises you because you could go and get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he would outlive you. So in my head, I'm like, hey, you
But
can't
people
choose who
don't
you
live
love,
like that.
and people don't live like that because they
No.
don't have that constant little reminder.
No.
So I think that balance is super important.
Yeah.
But that's where it kind of comes back to those conversations where both feel comfortable enough to say, hey, we both know you're the spender. We both know I'm the saver or whatever it is. Let's use this yin and yang as a balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll pull you up and say, no, we don't need to spend that. Sometimes you'll pull me up and say, hang on, you only live once. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you're a couple where you're both spenders, well, then you need to have that open conversation where you're both saying we need to pull ourselves up.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we're living life and enjoying, but we also need to make sure that we're pulling ourselves up and thinking of the future and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I know I'm Rich's little thing on his shoulder going, do you need that? Do you need that? Like, do you need that?
You're Richard's
Little person?
Got
Angel?
you.
Am I the angel or am I the devil?
he'd say
I don't
you're
know.
his devil. Going, do you really need that?
Do you need that? Yeah. But it
I
may
think
not be
that's me
something.
every time we go into BCF, to be honest.
Is
Or
it?
At the moment, it's hunting shops. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hunting shops.
Yeah.
They have shops.
For hunting? Yeah.
I've never seen one.
What?
Where is
So
that?
Facebook, my algorithm on Facebook shows me every time I open it up. I don't know. I think there's one at Cleveland. I'm not
Is
sure.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. They have
Either I haven't lived or
Oh.
I haven't lived yet.
Do you want to? If a measurement of having lived is being
hunting
in a
shop.
hunting shop, is that really living?
I don't know. Each to their own.
Jeremy would
Each their
argue
own.
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
So would Chad too as well, I think.
And on the flip of that, I must say, and I think it comes from living in survival, like for a long time, that I think that's where frugal comes from sometimes. I don't know whether that's everybody, or if you have experienced times where you've gone without money and you then start to, that awareness of it. But on the flip, I've learnt a lot from Rich as well, that you don't always, you can
don't need-
complement.
Well, and this is probably my woo-woo coming out as well. But
Yeah.
I've learned in the last maybe 9 years since being a business owner, a lot of it is also your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I think living in the frugal gives you a scarcity mindset. So you're going to continue to get scarcity. And then on the flip side, if you're, if you're living in a mindset,
Yeah.
YOLO, awesome, there'll always be more money, then that will continue to be your reality.
Yeah, that's a good
to
point.
a degree.
Yeah.
I don't think, we're not going to Chanel to spend our last $10,000 on a Chanel handbag
Yet.
knowing that there's going to be another 10,000 coming in the bank tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
not talking that.
Yeah.
But I just think that your mindset, I don't mean to be woo-woo like this, but I cannot tell you what a difference it can make.
No, I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe that's something I'm probably not as mindful for because I'm so used to just, like, me, like I'll have a plan of a plan if something doesn't occur.
Yeah.
And it probably is restricting because then, one, you're not living your best, are you? Within reason.
Yeah, I think you
I'm
still
not-
have a wonderful life, but I think you could be missing out depending.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So maybe then too, well, I suppose we aren't couple therapists, but I mean, that's probably a conversation that two people who are raised very differently have different views of money. And I don't think you realize how important money is when it comes to a couple.
I think that's part of that couple money conversation though, because one thing, so our upbringings, Jeremy and mine, were very different.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. When we went to a barbecue with friends or family, it was the kids get the sausages because they're just kids, and the grown-ups get the steaks. Jeremy's household was the flip.
Yeah.
It was the kids get the good food, and then whatever's left over, the adults can get. Even when it came to presents, the presents, you asked for what you wanted and you got what you asked for. In my house, it was very much 6 kids. My parents did amazing to, have one sole parent working majority of the time and support 6 kids. But it was very much you get what you get and you are grateful for it.
Yeah.
Even to the point where my kids came home from school and the school had taught them you get what you get and you don't get upset.
Yes.
And it made me angry because I was like, well, no, you don't get upset, but you don't have to get what you get.
It triggered you.
It triggered me because I was like, well, hang on, I've been introduced to a different, you grow up and you just think everyone's household is like yours. And then I saw Jeremy's and I was like, the kids can have steak. The kids can have steak. It's not a rule.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's funny, isn't it, what you're implemented, like how that way you are not conditioned, but the way you are raised.
You just think it's the norm.
That is your only belief. That's all, Yeah.
Yep.
I'm at 42. I'm struggling to look outside that.
Well, so I think
Sometimes.
the conversation around, so you might be listening to this thinking, oh, I've got a partner who's a spender, such a spender. But having that conversation with them about what was your child, like you don't even have to go, okay, let's have our money conversation now, make a cup of tea, let's talk.
What
I'm
made you
taking
think that way?
notes. You can just say, so what, at Christmas time, what was it like for your house? What was it? And that will tell you a lot of, you can see why someone is the way they are.
Absolutely.
I've got a family member who is very frugal, but I can see exactly what put them in that position.
Why?
Because they were raised in, we said scarcity mindset, massively scarcity mindset.
Yeah. And if you look at both, like in my relationship, you can absolutely see why I'm the way I am, and you can see why he's the way he is. That's just, it's written everywhere.
And I think once you understand where someone's coming from, it's not giving excuses or anything, but it helps you to then go, maybe we are therapists.
Maybe.
I think so. It helps you to go, I can see now why you are that way. And I think eventually over time, people can change.
Yeah.
I have definitely the poor man pays twice saying.
Yes.
I was the worst for that. To the point
Were you worse on the other way? Because I was the tight ass.
So I was the tight ass.
Yeah.
I was raised with, will you just get the cheapest option? Like we used to go to a restaurant and Mum would say, what do you want to eat? We'd look down at the prices, my sister and I, we were so well trained, look down at the prices, pick the cheapest thing on the menu. And it wasn't until I started dating my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, obviously, but so it wasn't until I started dating Jeremy that I was like, what do I actually feel like? What on this menu do I feel like eating? And that is what I'll order. And that was
interesting, isn't it?
Foreign thing to me. It blew his mind that it was foreign.
Yeah.
But to me, I was like, well, I can have anything. But this one's $40.
There you go, see?
And I have eventually learnt now that, well, now the kids pick what they want and I'll pick something relatively depending on what they pick. But it taught me, you can change.
Yeah.
So now understanding why I am the way I am, understanding that there's other things out there and different ways of viewing it has helped me to kind of go, all right, I don't need to get a kid's meal because it's the cheapest.
I feel like I'm a massive, like I just sound like an ex-CBA staff member, but I think you need to have a conversation about what your goals are as a couple.
Yes.
And find the middle ground. And like, I know we've talked about this before, but budgeting, like you can have a budget between like where money has to go. We all have responsibilities, right? You've got your home loan, you've got bills that have to be paid. But then if you do have a spender, then maybe you go, okay, well, here's your X amount of money in your
allowance
account
for the week.
Do whatever.
Have fun.
Do whatever.
I know a couple and they do, like they have their own accounts that they pop money in and he might be saving for a top market fishing rod and then he can go and buy that. There's nothing said, no guilt, nothing, because I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. That's one thing I realized from banking is how everyone lives so differently.
Yeah.
Like there are couples out there that I've seen heaps of where they're in their 50s, 60s, they've still got separate accounts.
Yep.
She works, she's earning her money, she pays half
they
a
pay
mortgage.
Their half the mortgage.
And they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But I think that's something you need to have a conversation pretty early, like, and
maybe not date number 2, but certainly by date 5, we want to have nutted out. No. And I think too, on that point, goals are constantly changing. So Jeremy and I, quite a few years ago, had the goal of being debt free. So just paying out the mortgage, being debt free. And then the mortgage broker and me, like there's a million ways to skin a cat. We'll probably talk about this at some point anyway. But I was like, we got investment properties. When we sell them, we can pay back the debt, but that will help us grow more. Anyway, long story short, our goals changed, but we talked through it and we both agreed. He was a bit reluctant, but now he's happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what they can change over time.
Because she gets thrown in there too. You have kids and 100%. The way that you live is different.
Mm-hmm.
People get sick. It changes the world. Like it just, things are constantly changing, but I think you still need to just revisit what those mutual goals are, because really you've got one, I say this, if you've got one spending out the back and one trying to be frugal and saving, like that's just going to create resentment.
I'm really lucky in that my Facebook algorithm will tell me what his next goal is. So if it's a boat.
But if no one listening, Jeremy doesn't have Facebook, right?
He doesn't. He uses mine.
Yours. Yeah,
he uses mine, which is so frustrating. He says to me all the time, bloody social media, it's ruining the world. Look at all these people. I don't have it. And I'm like, no, because you've got mine. If people are talking to me on Facebook, they may very well be talking to him and not know. I can't tell you how many times I get messages back from like phishing Facebook pages. They're like, hey, what can I help you with, Marianne? And I'm like, no, I can't, that's not, nothing.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I always giggle because if he's looking at motorbikes, all of a sudden motorbikes will start coming up in my feed and not just one here or there. At the moment, it's hunting. and a couple rural properties
Yeah.
thrown in.
Yeah.
And then on the weekend, I told you, he's like, found this property out at Stanthorpe. And I was like, oh, right. But I find it humorous because I already know when the goals conversation is coming what he wants.
Yeah.
But we still have them.
Absolutely.
I don't think we need to because Facebook kind of does it for us, but we still absolutely have them.
But I think you absolutely need goals too.
Something to work towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it is that, family holiday or...
I was going to say, we always need to have a little trip or a big trip or whatever, a trip of some kind booked at some point that we can kind of look forward to.
Or something to look forward to because, life does become monotonous.
Well, so at the moment, yeah, absolutely.
I'm so dumb.
No, you're
Monotonous.
not. It's the football trip. I don't know,
Yeah.
when, June, July, I don't know.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's the football trip. A couple of
Yep.
nights away at Townsville.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Gladstone, isn't it?
Gladstone. Yeah, Gladstone.
Gladstone. Yeah.
I'm hoping I catch a barra. Is it wrong for me to go on my son's football trip but hoping to catch a barra? No.
Are you sure it's not you looking at the fishing
Huh?
thing?
No.
But I would totally be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's water.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can mix it up.
Yeah.
Footy and pleasure.
We're not going to be playing 24/7.
No. No, you got to make most of it.
Catch my barra.
But I do think you need to have that something, something to look forward to.
Even if it's just little, like
Yeah.
a night in the city for Anzac Day.
A
Just
music
something
festival,
little.
a music,
Yeah.
yeah, something that you're working towards.
Yeah, because you're right. Otherwise, it does get monotonous. And so it doesn't have to be this big, huge goal of, right, we want to get a new property worth 1.8 mil. That's our big goal. But having those little ones along the way help break it down to feel like you're still achieving things and things are still happening.
Yeah.
I also love looking back at what's gone.
Yeah.
Because that to me, like if 10 years ago you had have sat me down and said, you're going to own a business, you're going to have this and that and whatever else, I would have laughed at you and said, no, not Marianne.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's your imposter syndrome, though.
But we all have it.
We do.
We all have it.
Yeah.
And then when I look back and go, oh my goodness, think of all the goals along the way at some point
there.
when I'm like, yeah, we'll do that. And I have no idea how it's going to happen, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
And we did.
But also, I think as couples, you need to have couple goals as well, because I think, and I'm really not a couple, I'm the one who's divorced, but I'm not one to preach, but I think it's okay to have your own goals too. I think it's important to have your individual, if you've got hobbies, and like fishing, fishing is your jam and whatever. I think that's totally healthy. But I also think if you've got one that's, constantly money out the back doing their hobby and you don't have a joint, it can create resentment, especially if you're both working and you're both putting money into that kitty or whatever and you've got one out the back and one. Yeah, I think it's important to have a couple.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
And especially if you're not having that open conversation, what typically, I don't know about you, but what I would be doing is seething quietly inside until it builds and builds and builds and builds and then just bust.
Yeah, but we're Scorpios, that's how we roll.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yeah, but really in the perspective of buying houses, if you've got someone, I would be pissed if you were spent like saving for a house or whatever that is, and then you've got somebody who's just completely oblivious to, the spending side.
Yeah.
It just comes down to a conversation. Hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I thought we'd done a lot of talking about fishing this episode. So what I thought would be, let's give away a fishing shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
how do we do that?
I don't know, but I was like, we talked a lot about fishing and we do have really cool fishing shirts.
We do.
How do you want to do it? First person to inbox us to say we've listened to the podcast and like my free shirt.
Okay.
Mitch or my dad. They're the only two that listen. It's fun having a chat knowing just your boyfriend and my dad are going to be the ones listening.
Hi, guys.
Love you, Dad.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gold.
Free fishing shirt, but you need to inbox DM 360 Mortgage Solutions. I'll pop a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
And then Rich, just let me know your size. And that's a wrap.
That is a wrap.
All right. Catch it.
Dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and